What's cracking, everybody? This is Anonymous Kurt, aka Just Kurt, in the StarCraft realm. Today I will be casting as this red Terran, and I will be facing a blue Protoss. His name is Ramza, apparently. As usual, I will take my 30 to 60 second spiel, introducing myself as far as it is in the StarCraft world. I am a Masters League player, and I tend to be in the 15 to 20 range, but I got as high as number 2 recently because the season just started. This is Season 7. I'm also a random player because random players rule, and I've been playing StarCraft for so long that I don't like choosing my race. So that's just how I roll. And to kick off Season 7, I have my good friend Johnny here to help me cast because he has been recently complaining about how I have been missing some stuff in my replays. So as that is, I invited him and said, "Prove it, homie." So Johnny, take it away.
Hey everyone, this is Johnny. I'm better known as Just Kurt, friend Johnny. Kurt, you asked earlier, what's cracking? Let me tell you, it's my knuckles in anticipation for this cast.
Thank you, Johnny. I'm very humbled that you would say that. So I believe we discussed this replay name, and it is called, what was it again? Crybaby loses to MMM. So this Crybaby is going to lose to MMM. I'm sorry if I spoiled the ending, but apparently Johnny says that he previewed this game and it is very fascinating. So hopefully it will be exciting and full of action, I guess. Yes?
Yeah,
Maybe.
So while we're in the really early stages, while nothing's happening, I want to take a look at the Protoss opening. He doesn't know your race since you're random, so he dropped a pylon at his expo in case, you know, a Zerg and he wants to fast forward expand or something like that.
That's correct.
And so, what do you think you're gonna do?
Well, versus Protoss, since he picked Protoss, I usually go MMM. I scout usually later because as Terran, I always build a Reaper. So, I'm thinking, I don't know yet, but I will find out in the second here. So I am scouting with my CV from my barracks at 15, I believe, or whatever that is, but I'm not sure what he's going to be doing. I know what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to impose my will on him, hopefully. So
you're scouting right now. You cross paths with a Zealot, it looks like.
Yes, I did witness the Zealot.
And you see a Cyber Core. You want to briefly talk about that supply depot on your cliff?
The supply depot on my cliff, yes, I always talk about this. I've talked about it in many replays. It is what I call my ghetto sensor tower, in that since he is cross-based for me, I do believe I do see his probe scout me. So it gives me that knowledge to know where he's coming from, where his base is. Also, in the form of, as my Marine dies, in the form of any sort of early attacks, I can get some sort of 5-10 second delay reaction, so I'll see him before he comes up my ramp. So that's what that supply depot is. Also, it is good for what Protoss players like to do, is proxy pylon in. I actually like to do that. So it senses that. And he is now terrorizing my base with the Zealot. What I'm doing is I'm surrounding his Zealot, if you see, and I'm trying to micro by taking out my weak SCV and right-clicking on a mineral. And so in that case, I only lost, I believe, one SCV. So that was sort of cost-effective in that his Zealot cost 100. I did lose a Marine, which was 50, so you can see the units lost, if you look, is even at this moment. I do, versus Protoss, I early researched the concussive shells, which if he does some sort of early stalker harass like you just saw, the Marauder is ready, steady to go.
So, what are the most common openings you see from a Protoss player, and how do you deal with those?
From Protoss players, I either, like you just saw, I'll get an early stalker, some sort of stalker harass, or I will get this, as you see, he is doing some sort of early expansion. I don't know, that's more recent for me. Protoss players, since the 4-gate is a dying build order, they have seemed to like early expanding, so I have also been early expanding recently as a Terran player.
So how do you deal with early pressure if someone goes something like a 3-gate push or just for pressure?
For an early pressure, I usually, if you look at my natural, I have a bunker here. Like I like to say, Johnny, my style is predicated on knowing what my opponent is getting, so I will be constantly scouting him. So if I go up and down his ramp and see that he has a lot of forces, I will probably build another bunker or 2 to make it 3 or so. So if he is going to early pressure me, I usually am aware of that. And as you can see, I am playing balls to the walls, as I just put a third expo, a third command center down, because I noticed that he did a natural expo. So I know that my base is secure with this one bunker. I know that he's not going to have enough units because he's getting his econ up right now, so I'm going to get greedy and get my third at the moment.
Yeah, so let's talk about this third base placement. Is there a reason you didn't place it right in front of your base? Normally, as a Terran, you'd want to expo towards your opponent. What do you think of this hidden expo?
I tend to do hidden expos, so if people actually start watching my videos, I'll probably start losing these hidden expos more often because people are not very good at scouting, I believe, in ladder, even at the Masters League level. Their map control is not great. When it hits around maybe the 12-15 minute mark, I will probably get scouted, but that's pretty much too late, and that expansion is up and running by then, and I can protect it. So I do these hidden expos a lot simply because people don't scout me, and that's just been working. I mean, would you agree? I don't think that you would scout that one. Yes, you'd probably scout the third that's closer to my base, but nobody ever goes up that ramp. It's pretty rare, I would say.
Yeah, I think as a Protoss player, since the units are a little bit more expensive, I don't sacrifice units just to scout like I would with a Marine or a Zergling or something like that.
Yes, that is exactly what I imagine. And so you see my SCV is going to scout. I guess maybe he's gonna take this Zelnaga tower, actually. I thought he was gonna go up the ramp, but he's not. I'm just gonna sit this SCV here, so I'll know, along with my ghetto sensor tower, like I said, I will know, I'll get some sort of head start if he's gonna do some sort of massive attack or all in or whatnot. So, I'm just gonna start building my infantry, and
so at this point in time, his units are actually kind of clumping next to your sensor tower or your Zelnaga tower.
I do see that.
You can kind of see that. What's your reaction when you see something like this?
At this point, yeah, you can see I'm gonna build another bunker. There's my reaction. I might build another one, but at this point, I'm gonna rely on my micro to hopefully win this. I saw a lot of sentries, and sentries don't do a lot of damage. I do have a lot of Marines. That's actually some really good sentry play by him. I'm not sure how I'm gonna survive this, but Marines they work well against Immortals if you target. So. Apparently I'm not targeting because I'm getting owned by these sentries. But I did notice that he blocked off my ramp, so since my infantry is ranged, I tried to block his SCVs from hitting my Marines, which are coming down the ramp from my production center. So this looks really bad at the moment because he's now annihilating all my SCVs and my infantry is pretty much gone. I do know that I have the advantage if I survive this because even if my SCVs died, I have a third base and I have mules that'll rain down from the skies to kind of help me out here.
So
yeah, this.
I'm thinking about your thought process at this point in the game. You're in a pretty rough spot. You have to pump out a ton of units. What's your game plan right after this is over if you manage to hold?
If I hold, I'll have dropships. So basically, I'll know that he's either going to be rallying to my base or he's going to probably rally to his ramp. So if and when I hold this, I'm basically going to load my dropship and try to take back what I lost essentially and drop him at his main. And that'll kind of pull me even because right now I'm in the resources lost tab. I'm down 3,000 to his 500. So at this point I'm playing from behind. And I pretty much know this. His sentry play is pretty much spot on. He's splitting my army, you can tell. But my dropships, my medevacs are... I have a lone medevac here that is not paying attention. But yeah, this doesn't look good at all for me. Luckily I'm producing a whole lot of stuff. Hopefully, maybe. Yeah, not looking good, huh, Johnny? Huh, Johnny?
It's not looking good, but at the same time, his production seems to be lagging a little bit. I noticed his build order was kind of weird at first. He put one gate down, got gateway research, warp gate research, and then went a fast robo.
Yeah. If you notice, I do notice him he was rallied to my base, and now he's turning back. So I am assuming that he's going to go protect this ramp. So like I said, my response, and he knows that I'm going to load the dropship apparently, so He's gonna try to protect his main, but I'm coming for it. And yeah, you were talking about the his first build. I'm pretty sure since he went early expo, he wanted to pump out his warp gate as fast as possible, but since he saw that I expanded, he probably canceled, or not canceled, but he didn't build as many gateways, warp gates as I figured he probably should. So as you can tell here, I did take out some stalkers. I'm just kind of trying to harass his mineral line. He's taking some... I know I'm not going to win this battle, so I'm not going to engage, but he took his probes all off the mineral line, so that kind of makes me pull even. For some reason, if you see my SCVs are going to his base, I have no idea what that is about. Apparently, that is the misclick of Century. Let's just pretend that I'm doing that to scout, even though I don't need to, but yeah. So at this point, you can tell my resources last. I kind of pulled even, so it's now 4,500 to 2,600. Earlier it was 3,000 to 500, so I'm pulling a little bit even. You can tell the supply count is 65 to 78. I know that I'm playing from behind, but I also know I have this third expansion, and I don't believe he has a third based on just his army supply that attacked me. So I think I'm in pretty good shape as long as I can keep pumping units out at this point. And since he hasn't busted out any sort of colossi or anything yet, I'm not that scared at the moment.
So when you're kind of when you have less map control in a situation like this, what's your philosophy on scouting? Do you drop a lot of scans, or what's your approach?
I actually never scan as a turn player. I save all that for mules. I will rarely scan, only if I see a DT or something. Looks like there's a pretty big engagement that's about to go down, and I see it from my Xel'Naga tower. So I'm tucking all my SCVs away to my main. I'm doing this because I know that it's really hard to protect that choke with that ramp with the wide mouth. So I'm sending everything basically up the ramp. So this Xel'Naga tower kind of paid off for me because I noticed that he was coming and I kind of avoided it. So yeah, at this point I wanted to fight the battle on my terms. He is blocking the ramp, but it's not really doing anything at this moment. So my command center didn't go down, and I'm pretty sure I didn't really lose any SCVs there. So that was not a great engagement by him. But once again, I'm just trying to pull even. So it is kind of pulling closer. If you look at the resources lost tab, I am at 4,700 resources lost to his 3,400. So I'm getting closer. I'm slowly chipping away. And as I was telling you earlier, I do like to do the backdoor front door with Terran. I just loaded these 2 medevacs, and I have a third that's kind of floating here. So I'm probably going to drop those 3. I do notice he's outside of my base, so at this point I'm kind of scared if he pushes because I'm doing a backdoor attack. I'm pretty vulnerable at this point. If he does go up the ramp, I don't think I will engage. It wouldn't be smart of me because his... Yeah, so as you can see, I'm running on my ramp, and I loaded my medevac in case he blocked my ramp, so I'm trying to pump as many units as I can up the top of the ramp. As I said, I'm trying to engage him on my terms because that wide mouth is good for him and not so good for me because he has more units. So I'm trying to have him go up the ramp and basically get annihilated by this infantry that I have here.
So at this point, we are nearing the 18-minute mark, and I noticed you're also dropping on the top right. So
that's correct.
So where's your attention focused at this point? Do you micro at all in the drops, or do you focus on defending your base?
I'll slightly micro the drop. I did try, so here I'm microing the drop right now as my base because I don't have any more infantry units apparently at this point, so I know that I don't have anything to micro, so I'm kind of alternating. When I initially dropped, I did some sort of stutter stepping with my infantry. That's just to take out some probes, and then when I saw that his probes were going out of that base, I just targeted his nexus, and his nexus went down. His reaction to this is pretty slow. So now I'm just going to kind of load up and bail out of here with my dropships because I'm not going to win this engagement. So I did the damage that I had to. At this point, I did way more damage than I needed to. If you look at the resources lost tab, now I'm ahead. He's lost 10,000 to my 8,000. So yeah, that engagement was more than even, and now I'm in the lead. So somehow he misplayed this, and I'm a badass. If you know what I'm saying, John.
So I know your replays are commonly watched mostly from your point of view. And
That's correct.
At around the 19-minute mark, what do you see, and what's your game plan from this point?
So at this point, I know that he's pretty heavy into warp gate units, and he has not yet built any colossi. I'm pretty sure that he knows that he's getting crushed by MMM, so his response should be colossi pretty soon. And as I'm saying this, my SCV is going to go scout. If you see him rally, he's going to go check the 3rd and 4th bases on the right side. But yeah, at this point, I know that he is, and I'm going to see that he's building 2 robotics, so I'm pretty much assuming that he's going to build some colossi now because he's getting annihilated from MMM. But my reaction to that would just be to build, what are they called? Vikings. Sorry, they slipped my mind. But basically, Vikings annihilate colossi and MMM annihilate any sort of warp gate units. So my response to whatever he's doing right now, which is not very good, is to basically do what I'm doing and keep pressing his backline and kind of engage his front just to bait his units out away from the back. So as you can see at this moment, I have 3 dropships and they are going to his expo.
So from a strategic point of view, you've seen that 3rd base, you've taken out his main base, his main nexus. Do you feel a lot of pressure at this point, knowing you're ahead, to take out the 3rd?
No, I know that I just need to keep the pressure on because it's basically 2 bases to what now I have 4, so I don't feel pressure knowing I'm ahead, but I know that I can't kind of take my foot off the gas pedal, so to speak. So I'm not just gonna sit back and build up my army. That's not what I should be doing, because like I said, I have the lead, and that was kind of the mistake that he made on his part because he had the lead, but he kind of sat back and let me rebuild, and it kind of bit him in the ass. As you can see, I'm going to do the backdoor drop, and I did make sure that I took out his pylon, so he's noticed that I'm knocking on the front door. So I want his attention to be towards the front while I'm dropping his back. As you can see, I am dropping his back, but I have a full force that's coming straight up the front. He's trying to keep me off his ramp with the sentries, but I'm doing a little bit of cliff play because I have the vision from my medevac, so I'm trying to take out these units in these buildings that I can while I can see them as I wait for these little sentry blocks to come down.
I think you actually forced a cancel on his colossi as well.
I'm not quite sure. Oh, and I do have a drop that's going down in his main, actually, if you kind of check it out. This is just kind of wreaking havoc at his main base. I also targeted his nexus, so his 2nd base is going down. This is bad micro on me. I'm kind of stuck at this ramp. But he kind of forced my hand with these prism blocks, so he's not going to be able to climb up the ramp, and now I'm in his base and he's stuck. So I did notice this, and now I'm taking out these probes that are just kind of chilling there, so at this point, I'm pretty sure I have this game won. What is your opinion, Johnny? He has no bases, apparently.
It sure looks like it.
As you can see, I'm basically, if you look at my rally points, Terran is a joke, GG. And then he leaves the game. Crybaby. Yeah. So what did you learn, Johnny? And then I will, I guess, say what I think should have been learned.
So what I feel like in this game, he had, just like you said, he had a big advantage in terms of pressuring. He took a lot of mining time away from you. He didn't see that 3rd base. I don't think all game he saw it. So I think he kind of overextended himself a little bit. I think he could have expoed once at least more and scouted the rest of the map just to be sure before his push. It also felt like all game that his production, there wasn't enough of it to be supporting his economy.
I also would agree with that.
Yeah, if you see, by the time he got his 3rd base, at that point he dropped down 2 robos, and he had lost his main at that point. So it felt like kind of a not properly balanced with his econ.
I would also agree with that. He got his colossi really late, and because I was already annihilating him left and right with the drops in the back door, and he reacted pretty slow. Also, my Zelnaga tower, I guess I'll talk about that a little bit. I put my SCV on the opposite Zelnaga tower, and he never scouted it, so He had the Xel'Naga Tower opposite of my SCV, which was the north one. I was at the south one. But that Xel'Naga Tower actually told me a lot of information. It saved me earlier, if you remember. I spotted his attack. I knew I wouldn't be able to fend it off, so I sent all my SCVs back to the top, and I floated my SCV up away. So yeah, knowing what your opponent is doing is very, very important. It saved me a whole lot of minerals, and it helped me pull even. So I believe we covered all the points. That should be it.
I want to make a really quick comment actually about upgrading. So when he's pressuring your natural, and you have to pull your command center back and pull your units back multiple times. What do you think about upgrades when you're kind of stuck in your base? You know, you're kind of limited to your production, your econ. I noticed at the end of the game, he actually had not upgraded anything for his units, and I feel like that made a big difference once the mid game hit.
I would agree with that. I believe I stopped the upgrades from going on because I'm only at 2-1 at this point. It's the 23-minute mark where the game ends, so it should be at least 2-2 and maybe some sort of +3 attack. But I did have to stall it because my production should have been focused on infantry and not upgrades at this point because, yeah, he was kind of knocking on my door. So upgrades are not going to do very well if you only have 4 Marines and 2 Marauders versus the gang load of Protoss units. So, good point. Fair. I would have to say. Anything else you'd like to add, Johnny?
Nope, game played out. Just how it sounded.
All right, Johnny. As usual, I will end with the final kicker. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that there are 2 things that I can guarantee to you and my good friend Johnny right here, right now. 1, that I rap better than your favorite StarCraft player, and 2, that I play StarCraft better than your favorite rapper. All right, later.